Kom eens kijken. Oeh. If your aim in life is nothing, you can't miss. Yeah, so Kleine Zalze is situated in Stellenbosch. It's in the De Zalze Golf and Wine Estate. So it's an estate with a golf course, and there's a winery, a tasting room, a lodge, and you can play some golf. And if you're at the winery, you look at the beautiful Stellenbosch and Helderberg mountains. And the grapes that we use for our Cap Classiques are the Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. The Chardonnay is from Robertson region. So everyone always thinks that Robertson is a warm region, but this specific vineyard block is just below the mountains, and it's much cooler there than the normal Robertson temperatures. The Pinot Noir is from Stellenbosch, but it's actually close to Somerset West. If you stand in the vineyard block, you can see the ocean from there. So that cool sea breeze is responsible for the nice fruity flavors that you get in Cap Classique. So we buy, as Kleine Zalze, we buy grapes from 50+ producers for all our wine ranges, because it gives you the opportunity to go and select the best parcels of grapes. Bubbly is not just there to celebrate a birthday or a wedding, it's there to celebrate life and the good things in life. So I brought 3 wines today. We've got 5 Cap Classiques, but I only brought 3 of our Cap Classiques. So the first one is our normal Brut non-vintage. We've got 2 non-vintages. It's spent 2 years on the lees in the bottle and a crown cap. And it's one of our popular Cap Classiques that you get in every shop, and you can also get it in most restaurants. And last year we released 2 nectars, so it's a little bit sweeter than our normal Brut. This one is our Cape Nectar Rosé, so it's got a pink color. And then I also brought our flagship. So our flagship wine is our top of the range, our special wine that we can be proud of. And it's a 2015 vintage, so it's spent 5 years on the lees in the bottle, and then another 3 years under cork. So it's more yeasty, biscuity, brioche flavors like the French style champagne. When you decide to bottle a Cap Classique, 3 days before the bottling, you start a yeast bomb, and you rehydrate yeast cells, and you make them stronger, and you give the yeast bomb a lot of attention and love, and you increase the sugar of that base wine tank to 23 grams per liter. A normal wine's got 2 grams per liter. So you add this yeast bomb to the tank, mix the tank, and you bottle immediately. So the fermentation will take place in the bottle. And you put a crown cap on top, and then it's cloudy because there's yeast cells in the bottle moving around, and that lees is the yeast cells. So the longer you keep it on that lees, the more flavored and more bodied the wine is gonna get. When you add the yeast bomb, it will eat that sugar and convert it to alcohol and CO2 gas. And the CO2 gas is that natural bubbly that you get in the bottle. So it's not carbonized like Coke where you add CO2 gas in, it's naturally formed by the yeast cells. During fermentation in the bottle, at the end of fermentation, the pressure in the bottle is around 6 to 7 bars of pressure. A normal tire's got 2 bars, and that's 6 to 7. So it's like a mini bomb. So you need to put a crown cap on top that can handle the pressure. We use very good quality glass that can handle, they do pressure tests that can handle 10 bars of pressure. but I'll never go to 10 bar, but I know it's strong enough to handle that pressure. Yeah, so Kleine Zalze, we've grown a lot over the past years, the brand, and we strive to keep all our wines every year very consistent for our ranges. So we don't want the flavors to go up and down and the products to change. So we strive to have a consistent flavor profile for each of our wines and also good quality. If it's not good enough, the wine, we won't put it in the bottle. So it's a Brut non-vintage. Like I said, it's a blend between Chardonnay and Pinot Noir grapes, 60% Chardonnay and 40% Pinot Noir. And it's spent 2 years on the lees in the bottle. So the Chardonnay is responsible for that green, crisp apple flavors. And the Pinot Noir, you get more strawberry fruit flavors. So non-vintage means that you use different vintages of wine in one blend. So for example, this specific wine, it's 2 years old, so it can be maybe 2015 vintage wine plus 2016 vintage wine, blended together. So the non-vintage Brut, on the nose you get crisp apple fruit flavors. There's also a little bit of blackcurrant on the nose, and on the palate you get that brioche. That's from the yeast cells that are fermenting inside the bottle. And our bubbles is very small. It's very important when you bottle the wine, you must ferment it at 13 degrees Celsius. Because if you ferment it very warm, then the bubbles in the end product is going to be big. And you don't want big bubbles. You want that small, fine bubbles. This is actually a Cap Classique that you can enjoy with any meal. I've had it with a starter, like fish dishes. Oysters is always a very good pairing. And you can also have it with dessert. I've done a lot of winemaker dinners where they paired it with dessert and it went perfectly. How I decided to study winemaking, and when I was in high school, my dad decided to make wine in the garage as a garage. They call, if you make wine in the garage, you call it a garagiste. So we made wine in the garage as family and friends. And I just remember we did everything. It was hands-on. We started with the grapes, destemming, fermentation, bottling, labeling, everything with our hands. Yeah, so it was my parents that influenced me, and when we made wine at our house as family and friends in the garage. I studied BSc Viticulture and Enology at Stellenbosch. And the first year you get a lot of science subjects, and only in the second year you start doing winemaking and viticulture subject. But one day when you work and do the practical side, there's a lot of art, and you can experience and you can try different things. That's why I think it's nice to be a winemaker, because you can trial and be artistic. And every vintage is different. So the next one is our Cape Nectar. So last year we released 2 new Cap Classiques, 2 nectars. So nectar means it's a demi-sec. Demi-sec means it's 40 grams per liter sugar in the Cap Classique. So it's something that's a little bit more sweeter. But the reason why we launched it is because there's definitely a market for a Cap Classiques that's sweeter. Yeah, South Africa can be very proud of our Cap Classique. We can definitely compare our wines to a lot of the French and Australian Cap Classiques. We did a tasting the other day and we compared South African wines, but it was a blind tasting. and there was French champagne and Australian Cap Classique and also Cap Classique from UK. And because it's a blind tasting, you don't know what's inside. And the South African wine scored very high compared to the international. So yeah, we can be very proud of what we do, and we can definitely compare our Cap Classiques to the rest of the world. So this is our Cape Nectar Rosé. It's got a nice pink color, as you can see. We don't strive for that pink color, we more go for the salmon color. And on the nose you get strawberry, cranberry, fruit flavors, a lot of strawberries. And I notice if you increase the sugar in the Cap Classiques, it brings out the fruit flavors more than if the sugar is lower. The other day I had it with tempura mushroom as a starter, and like a tempura mushroom is more like dry and this is sweet, and it went perfectly together. And of course you can enjoy it with desserts also, but you can just enjoy it on its own. So the question is, why pay corkage fee? I would honestly not pay corkage fee, but this is my personal opinion, because if you go to a restaurant, it gives you the opportunity to bring the wine to the restaurant that you want to enjoy, or your personal opinion. And I, as a restaurant owner, will not ask corkage fee, because it also gives you the, if I go to a restaurant, I also eat at that restaurant and enjoy the food. The wine goes with the food. I don't drink the wine on its own. So personal opinion, I won't ask corkage fee. But I do understand why restaurant owners ask corkage fees, because you as a client get the whole atmosphere, ambiance when you go to a restaurant. It's much better to enjoy the wine at a restaurant than at your home, because you've got that vibe and atmosphere. So MCC must be cold because it just tastes so much better if it's cooled down. And the bubbles is also much smaller if it's cold. If it's warm, the bubbles will taste bigger. And who wants to drink a Cap Classique with big bubbles? If your aim in life is nothing, you can't miss. You need an aim in life, otherwise you're not going to be motivated or want to go somewhere in life. I always want to move forward and upwards in life. We've got something exciting going on at the moment. A few months ago we bottled a very small batch Cap Classique. That is a different cultivar. We fermented it in different vessels. I can actually say we fermented it in terracotta amphora clay pots, and we used Chenin Blanc, that is old vine certified vineyards, only one block from Stellenbosch. So that's something exciting that's happening with our Cap Classiques at the moment. Come and visit Kleine Zalze. Like I said, on the estate there's a restaurant, a tasting room, a golf course. So come and play some golf, eat at the restaurant, do a tasting, and you can sleep safely at the De Zalze Lodge on the estate. Now, cheers.